It's time to talk stocks. These are the NBA teams you should buy stock into making the playoffs. And I'm going to mention a team that you probably should go ahead and dump before it's too late. All that coming up in 20 seconds. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Jay here with Unfair Sports, where we take a pensive approach to the sports conversation. Please hit the like and subscribe button and make sure you share, because why sharing is caring. All right, it's time to talk about these 5 teams you need to go ahead and invest some stock into, not literally, but figuratively, teams to pay attention to in the NBA right now, as they are playing some really good basketball and some you might need to hold. But I'm going to give you 5 teams to buy into. And I'll tell you kind of how to jump into them, how deep you want to be in, because some are really moving up and you want to be careful buying too high, because if it does tumble financially, you will get hit, or more so reputation wise. So here's my 5 teams to really buy into going into the rest of the season. First off, the Brooklyn Nets. Yes, they've got probably the best, trio in the NBA, dang near in history based upon ratings and scoring. They're playing at a ridiculous level offensively. And what's funny is defensively, they've gotten better. Bobby Marks has sent out a tweet talking about how they have moved from 27th in rating to the teens now. Their defense has gotten better as time is going on with this tandem. And they had a nice victory against the Lakers the other night. Of course, without Anthony Davis playing for the Lakers and Dennis Schroeder, but Kevin Durant didn't play either. And they held the Lakers to under 100 points. It's kind of a big deal. If defensively, even though they were missing a lot of offensive firepower, that this team was able to hold them to 98 points. That's pretty good. And James Harden has come in there as a distributor. He has went ahead and taken the role that he used to have, like he was with Oklahoma City back in 2010, 11, and 12, where in the clutch, he is the ball handler. And that's what the Brooklyn Nets needed. And Kyrie Irving basically said, hey, dog, this is your offense. Run the O. I will be on the side. And that's something I did not expect from Kyrie Irving, to be okay with being off the ball. Even though he had to be off the ball with LeBron in Cleveland, he seems like he's better with the ball, but I guess he recognized that James Harden is actually better as a distributor. And so that's a big plus for them. That to me is going to lead them to victories this year. And it's going to lead them to being a better team in the long run. So the question is it sustainable? Another one to really dive into is the Golden State Warriors. Steph is in MVP form right now. Mentioned him before in my MVP talks. 34 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists in the last 10 games at 55, 47, 95 clips. The man is shooting lights out, and he's getting better. And I think that he's going to lead. The team is starting to finally mesh around him as the system and recognize that that's who you should follow. And recognize that Steve Kerr's offense works when you actually execute it. So Golden State's one to definitely dive into. I can see them getting a lot better as the season goes. I'm going to anticipate them finishing the year, because they're right now the 7th seed. I can see them finishing in the top 5, 4 or 5 seed. I had them that before. I can see them continue to drive forward with that. And they've won 6 of their last 10, so Golden State's going to make the magic happen. Next up to go ahead and buy into. Now, this is when you want to buy into light, because we don't know what it looks like down the line. But Philadelphia 76ers. I think Brooklyn's going to overtake them as the number 1 seed. But I think that Philly's going to stay in the top 3 for the rest of the year. And I can see them making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Joel Embiid is playing ridiculous basketball right now at 29 and 10 boards. So you know that he is basically running things for that team. And even though Ben Simmons don't like to shoot, he's got 8 assists and 1.7 steals a game. Only averaging 15 points and 8 boards. But he's showing as a good complementary piece, him and Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is really having a season at 20 points, 7 boards, PR at 19. Him and Ben Simmons have a PR that high. But they actually have 5 players averaging double figures with Seth Curry and Shake Milton, which is awesome. But Embiid's at 29.7. He's a monster right now. And his MVP conversation is big because he's, as a big man, at 50, 40, 90. As much crap as Shaq talks about him, Shaq ain't never been close to that. Shaq has never been that versatile. Shaq was dominant in the post. He's probably the most dominant big man ever played the game in the post. But Joel Embiid is doing everything. He's out there in the post. He's out at the top of the key. And because of the way this team is constructed, he needs to be able to play in and out because Ben Simmons can't shoot. So you got to make it to where Ben can go in the post sometimes and do his thing. You can follow behind and score. Joel Embiid has done a great job, and Doc Rivers has done a great job of adjusting this team so where they can play together. And Tobias Harris, like I said, is getting you a bucket, something that's needed, especially down the line. So we'll see what they look like playoff-wise, but I think that they may end up being in the Eastern Conference Finals. Another team you need to go ahead and buy into and keep stock going with, probably more so you want to hold. I'm not sure if you want to buy more yet, but you want to hold is definitely the Lakers. Now LeBron is a solo act with Anthony Davis out. They're saying now 4 weeks he's done due to that Achilles and strained Achilles tendonitis that he aggravated, as well as the strained calf, which sounds similar to what Kevin Durant was dealing with. So we're going to knock on wood and hope that Anthony Davis isn't out. But it's crazy how everybody's dealing with Achilles injuries over the last couple of years. There's been a lot of them. But anyway, he's done for a bit. He's shelved past the All-Star break. And to be honest, they want to be very cautious about him because you don't know what it's going to look like going into the play. You need him for the playoffs. Period. There's nothing about the Lakers that says they're going to do anything in the playoffs without Anthony Davis. They have to have multiple pieces because every team nowadays have multiple pieces that can actually contribute. So if the Lakers want to get past the Jazz or anybody or Denver or the Clippers, they need to have Anthony Davis, period. And the stock to have and hold, Utah Jazz. Hold that stock. It's rising at 24-5, the top team in the NBA record-wise and in the West. You want to hold on to them. I don't know what that trajectory looks like. I mean, it doesn't feel like a GameStop stock. It doesn't feel like it's funny money or even like Tesla. It does feel like, though, that they have something going, but we don't know what. And we've got to see them in the end. So I'll talk to my buddy about this as a big Jazz fan. And he's asking me, what do they need to do for me to believe in them more? I need to see what they look like in the playoffs. Regular season stuff, Denver had great regular seasons. I've seen the Clippers have great regular seasons. I've seen teams all over the league have great regular seasons. I've seen my Thunder have great regular seasons, and they didn't end up winning any championships. That doesn't mean anything to me. I need to see what you do past it. I need to see what the playoffs look like. I need to see what you look like when everything's hunkered down. I need to see if your players can produce these 6 double-figure guys and someone steps up strategically when needed, then I can believe in you. But I can't believe into you till I see that. And so the Jazz have covered 18 of the last 20 games. 18 of the last 20, they've covered the spread. They're winning these games. They're on a 9-game winning streak, and they were on an 11-game winning streak before that. And they had some notable wins. I mean, their only loss was to Denver. They started the season off slow at 4-4, but they had some pretty decent wins. But besides that, in this streak, I mean, they beat the Clippers recently. They didn't even have Kawhi. They were pretty depleted. But they beat Philly, even though Embiid didn't play that game. They beat Milwaukee, Miami, who's trying to find their way. They beat Boston and Indiana, which are both still pretty solid teams. Dallas twice. They beat Golden State, Pelicans twice, and these back-to-backs, which I'm actually writing up an article about these back-to-backs. It's intriguing to see if this is going to be a strategy for the future for the NBA as a cost-saving measures until they can get back to normal. But keep an eye out for that writing. I'm still writing and editing it, trying to get better at my pen work. But they beat some solid teams. They beat Milwaukee twice. And so I want to give them all these props for what they're doing. But I got to see it in the end. I've got to see what it looks like in the second half scheduling, and I got to see what they look like in the playoffs. That's the only thing about this team I can't buy into. Got to get to the Western Conference Finals. You got to get past the Lakers and the Clippers in the playoffs. You got to get past Denver in the playoffs. Show me that. Show me you can get past those teams, and I think I will buy all the way in on the Jazz being a threat. Hell, beat Portland, who's a team that's now starting to ascend themselves. Show me that. If you can show me that, then I'll believe in the Jazz. But until then, I'm not going to bet against LeBron James, who's been to the finals 9 of the last 10 years. I can't. Can't bet against him when healthy at all. So, Jazz, do your thing. And so, team that I'm looking at, though, you need to go ahead and just dump. I sense that this is going to be worth dumping. Boston right now, I don't know what's wrong with them. I still have them going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think they can figure it out later. I think with the youth and Jason Tatum talking about his effects with COVID and how he's been feeling weird, I think they'll find it. But they might be a stock you want to start selling just in case. No. You know what? Hold on to them. Hold them. Hold the Charlotte Hornets right now. Sell the Knicks. I'll never believe in the Knicks until they do something. In the West, sell that Portland stock. Dame is killing it without McCollum. And they're playing really good basketball. They've won 8 of their last 10 on a 6-game winning streak. I'm selling my Portland stock. And as much as I like San Antonio, I don't know what they look like long term. Might sell them too. But we'll see.